Alright then guys, it's the Cartographer here, and today we'll be doing Virtue meets Brute Force. This trial gives you the unparalleled opportunity of allowing you to experience what a sweaty tryhard and bounty hunt must feel like, as you run around with two dual-wheeled dolches and a maxed out inventory of explosives. This isn't the hardest trial. You've got to kill and banish 8 meatheads without avoiding any damage, you've got a time limit and there's some grunts. It's really not too bad. I'll show you the best way I've found of going about it, and we'll take it from there. Let's crack on. Alright then guys, so the first thing you're going to notice is you've got 2 dual-wheel dolches and 3 sticky bombs. That is just enough firepower to kill all the meatheads without relying on any red barrels, but there's a few locations where there are red barrels, and I would encourage you to use them where possible, just because it does make your life a little bit more comfortable when it comes to killing the meatheads. Again, there's a couple spots, well, only really one spot, which is there where setting off one red barrel will set off other ones. Now the grunt situation on this level isn't as bad as other levels. For some reason they don't spawn as aggressively, but it still does rely on sort of the RNG of where the meatheads spawn. You can get quite unlucky and they can spawn inside this building. The lower level isn't too bad, but the upper levels are really, really tough. If it happens to you, you really need the sticky bombs for it, I would suggest, just because without them I just think it's too hard. When you're doing this, just watch out for the leeches. They will follow you like crazy, and the other problem is it will very commonly blow up lanterns like that, and when that happens it can block off the meathead, or it can block off getting out of the building, which is really frustrating. That's what's happened to me here. There are other ways of getting out, it's just time consuming and a bit annoying. However, we move on. If you're going to get a location like here where the meathead can just spawn out in the open, before just unloading into him, I would heavily recommend getting into a safe spot like this before unloading into it. And the reason for that being is it's really often that either the leeches or the grunts will just suddenly spawn in and start attacking you. It's really frustrating. When you are using the dolches, I would try and unload full magazines before reloading, just because the reload speed is just much faster and it just saves you a bit of time. But on the whole, this really isn't the worst challenge in the world. You can just get a bit unlucky with the spawns of your meatheads. The worst spawn location is upstairs in that main building. I've actually never successfully killed that meathead on a 3-star run. It's always a disaster. I would still recommend trying to use the sticky bombs for it, but I mean, the problem is it's such a tight area and there's loads and loads of walls. The leeches can be really aggressive there. It's just tough, really tough. So you can see here I've not followed through with my advice of trying to use that full magazine before reloading, and now I've got a lengthy reload process ahead of me. And it's really not the end of the world, it's just annoying. The timing on this mission isn't that tight, but it's not comfortable either, especially if you get unlucky with your meathead spawns. As you can see, the grunts really aren't that interested on this mission, and I'm definitely not going to complain about that. Now, the good thing is obviously the grunts aren't spawning in as aggressively as before or on other missions. However, the issue being, when they do spawn, you're kind of almost forced to use your dolch ammo, and that's because the heavy knife is so slow that if they're bunched up together, the heavy knife isn't quick enough to get 2 hits off in a row. So this is actually my least favourite spot for the meathead to be. I might just see if I can just slot one through the roof here. It's just the geometry of the room is a nightmare, and the leeches are always just so aggressive and chase you like crazy, and will often give you some damage. You can see here they're already starting. I mean, I know I did shoot one, but still, I think that's the only way I can advise you to do it. Again, just be careful. I should have done it there actually, but on the inside the lanterns are always lit, and that's a problem because if the explosion goes off, it will trigger a bunch of fire. So if you can, try and destroy the lanterns. If not, I get it. But like I said, on the whole, this definitely isn't the worst mission in the world. Oh, I'm going to avoid... Okay, obviously don't do that. I'm not going to restart this whole mission in commentary just for that, but that is annoying. But you can appreciate this was a 3-star run and everything, but like I said, you can use these ladders and the top bits of the buildings to help you. It's really not that bad of a mission. I know I didn't get the 3 stars for you with the commentary, which is a bit annoying, but I mean, I'm sure you can appreciate how you can go about the mission quite happily. Once again, like I said, I would use the elevation to your advantage, and the fact that the grunts and the meatheads aren't good at attacking your elevation. Try and use the red barrels where possible, but there's only really a couple of locations where you can. Save your sticky bombs for inside the building, and just be wary of where the lantern fire and things lead you. You don't have to worry too much about time, but you don't have too much time to dilly-dally, so use an entire magazine of Dolch ammo before switching to your second pair and then reloading when you've got a moment. I hope that helps in some way, but you shouldn't have too much trouble with it. You just kind of have to get a little bit lucky with your meathead spawns and hope you don't get too many in the building. I'd say that was one of my unluckiest set of meathead spawns since doing this mission, and I did pretty well. I nearly got the hard, but fell off the stairs in my hurry. So I guess on the top one, I just recommend having to kill the leeches before you even attack the meathead, because otherwise, I promise you, it's just too difficult to just go in, throw the bomb, run out. The leeches will get you for some reason on that top floor. All right then, guys, I'll see you in the next trial.